The year is 2022. What is your intention?
Big boys take over.
There we go now. Take him away, boys. But what about him? Oh yeah, burn it to death. 2022 felt like a renaissance for FNaF Fan Games, embracing new ideas and concepts. This year also saw an increase in recodes and remakes of FNaF Fan Games that date all the way back to 2015, including one series, slumbering since the release of a certain jump bucket game, has arisen from the depths of the retro, and it arose very hot. Five Nights at the Krusty Krab Chapter 3, the third game in the Krusty Krab series, using the SpongeBob crew inside of a nuclear power plant. Without further ado, let's go. Your name is Ellie Floyd, a former night guard of the Krusty Krab and the Jump Bucket, and you were suddenly dragged by a peculiar figure to a nuclear power plant, forcing you to survive another week against familiar faces. Alright, so what is Five Nights at the Krusty Krab 3 exactly? As I mentioned in the beginning, it contains the characters from the SpongeBob universe haunting us in a nuclear power plant by the US government, most likely. The cast we face is a Hammerhead, an amalgamation of SpongeBob and Patrick, Squidward, Sandy, some Phantoms, and lastly, Plankton. And at this point you might be asking yourself, how does the gameplay work? Well, let's find out right now. Starting off to a great start, we are in an office with no lights. Big shout out to the electrician for failing their duties. But what if I told you it's on purpose, as we must place a battery from the cabinet into the fuse box to get that bad boy running. Oh no, switches for hall lights, cams, and Kool-Aid pump respectively? You can freely turn it on and off, but they will drain your power if they are activated. The first two speak for themselves, but the Kool-Aid pump cools down the core temperature of the power plant. And if you have your brain turned on, yep, this is going to be a juggling poles type of game. Meaning you might have to turn on the Kool-Aid pump to reduce the core temperature of the power plant, or turn off the lights because, goddamn, you gain power back if you turn off the power again? On your sides, you got flashing light buttons that drain your power. Fuck! But please check your cameras if someone is at the entryways. And on your desk lies a red button that can be activated to nearly cause the building to fucking explode, forcing you to replace a battery in the fuse box after initiating it. And finally, there's a tape that plays nice music if the power is on. Any more questions about the gameplay?
Yes. How good is the gameplay?
Oh yeah, sure. Why not? The gameplay is amazing. Now for real, this game is a certified example of how it's done. Additionally, with the WSD plus E keys, you can look at either side extremely quickly. This game also lacks any kind of RNG elements, meaning it's perfectly balanced for the most part. But not everything can be perfect in a video game, because one of my biggest fears is wombo combos. Oh. In summary, the game is all about strategizing and having quick reflexes, otherwise you might die in agony. But then there's this moment when Hammerhead and Squidward can attack you at once. But speaking of Hammerhead and Squidward attacking you at once, let's finally talk about the mechanics, shall we? The Hammerhead and Amalgam are so easy, just flash them on the respective side if they enter the office. Squidward is Grumpus copy and pasted, no originality. Sandy Cheeks must be dealt with by the red button to prevent her from damaging the core. Plankton must be clicked on before he commits a crime, and Karen is going to spam our monitors with pop-ups, so better close them. Then we got the Phantoms, and they are the most useless characters I've ever seen.
Is that your conjecture? Allow me to examine this. It appears quite efficacious to me.
They literally kill you if you have your power turned off and turning around too many times, because the music is not playing. This is bullshit, because why would you play a night without playing music in the first place? Damn! Jesus Christ, don't scare me like that.
I realize that these mechanics are not really original, and a few feel like a copy of One Piece. Why is that?
Alright, listen up, Dead Bucko. It ain't about originality. It might have some elements that are pretty pointless or not really unique, but it's a FNaF fan game after all. But man, shut your bitch ass up. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and play Night 5.
The following educational tape is classified.
No Squidward? Why do I hear boss music? So you're telling me that Night 5 is 1v1 against Hammerhead, who has the explanations of all the other characters? Yeah, I think it's cool and all, but the ending is kinda... Then what the fuck are you doing in my therapy room? Just felt like it. Okay. Does it have boss music though? No. Oh, damn. Alright.
Hello, Totally Gformer here, and the hour is upon us to discourse concerning the remaining substance of Five Nights at the Krusty Krab, Chapter 3. Without further ado, let us commence. The phone guy isn't any ordinary person, but rather a collection of VHS tapes made by the US government, which are basically tutorials on how the game works.
Shut the fuck up.
Very unique alternative, and it definitely makes it way more intriguing to listen. One of the cooler phone guys in a long time. In order to unlock the custom night, you first have to go through Nightmare Night and Challenge Night, which are basically Night 5 but harder, including Plankton, and a more difficult version of Night 4 in which the animatronics become increasingly faster respectively. Sounds like filler or as an extra step to get the custom night for sure, but they both get the job done and are easily beaten. That's if you're not Gformer. And then finally there's a model viewer, which, as it says in its name, lets you view all the character models in 3D. I like this menu, it's like I wanna stay on this forever after, but you have to complete Night 5 for it to unlock. Thanks for watching this episode of Totally Gformer reviewing the phone guy and custom night thingy and model viewer. Now it's time to get to the end of the video.
Five Nights at the Krusty Krab 3 is a must game you have to play. As I said in the review, the gameplay is very great and balanced, and almost every character serves a purpose. Now for bonus content, it may not be top notch, but it gives a goal for the player, that is to unlock the Coast Knight, for example. Oh yeah, and let's also add the fact that the ending was the biggest confusion trip I have ever witnessed. But the question now is it better than Five Nights at Candy's? 9 out of 10. Oh my god! And in conclusion...